Top 10 best-selling video games in history. Video games long had the image of being made exclusively for kids or nerds, but that is definitely no longer the case. Video game culture has reached the mainstream. In fact, the esport industry is growing at an incredibly fast pace and has overtaken most real-life sports in terms of global popularity. It is needless to say that the video games industry is now a multi-billion-dollar industry. The market also belongs to the most competitive ones there are. While hundreds of millions of video games are shipped every year, only 3 video games in history managed to sell more than 100 million copies in total. The following ranking of the best-selling video games shows which ones and the entire top 10 of the all-time best-selling video games in the world. Before we start the video, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel and you will not miss our new video. 1. Minecraft. At a time when most video games strive to provide their players with realistic, high-end graphics, Minecraft proved that graphics are not primarily what makes a video game successful. The sandbox survival game uses almost absurdly outdated, simplistic graphics, yet it has sold around 240 million times around the world since its release in 2011. The game was developed by the small Swedish video game company Mojang Studios, which was only founded in 2009 and is now owned by Microsoft. Aside from the ancient graphics, another aspect that makes Minecraft so special, it does not have a specific goal. There are no levels to complete or high scores to break. Players simply build their own world while avoiding and slash or killing a variety of monsters. The multi-platform game can be played both in single-player as well as multiplayer mode. 2. Grand Theft Auto V. Grand Theft Auto V is the second most sold video game of all time. It also joins Minecraft and Tetris in being the only video games to have broken the 100 million mark by selling a total of around 170 million copies worldwide. GTA V is part of the Grand Theft Auto series, which itself belongs to the most popular and best-selling video game series in history. GTA V was developed by American video game company Rockstar Games in 2013. While Rockstar, which is owned by video game giant Take-Two Interactive, is now also known for other widely popular games, it is still the GTA franchise that stands almost synonymous with the company. GTA V is an open-world action-adventure game that lets players play with 3 different characters, each with unique background stories and attributes. 3. Tetris. Tetris is third among the best-selling video games in history, having only recently been surpassed by Minecraft. The game was created in 1984 by Russian software engineer Alexei Pajitnov. The inventor worked for the Academy of Sciences of the Soviet Union, which still existed then. His original task was to develop a program that would let the computing center of the Academy test newly developed hardware. In other words, Tetris was originally meant as testing software, not a game. But Pajitnov soon realized that his program became quite popular among his colleagues. With the permission of his superiors and the help of his colleagues, the program was then developed into a game named Tetris, a portmanteau of the geographic shape Tetromino and the sport of tennis. The game was consequently published worldwide by the state-owned Soviet company Elektronor Technica. The simple, yet highly addictive game has sold around 150 million times ever since. 4. Wii Sports. In the 1980s and 1990s, Japanese video game giants Nintendo was the non plus ultra of the video gaming world, but the competition, especially from Sony and Microsoft, was growing at the start of the 21st century. Nintendo desperately needed a new innovative gaming concept, and as always, the company managed to create just that. In 2006, Nintendo released its new video game console, the Nintendo Wii. The console's controller includes a sensor that detects 3-dimensional movements, making the Wii controllable by the player's movements. Wii Sports represented the original game for the Wii console, and it is therefore not surprising that the game sold around 83 million copies worldwide. Wii Sports, as well as other games on the Wii console, quickly gained global prominence for being a popular party game for players of all ages. Like all Wii games, the game was and is exclusively playable on a Wii console. 5. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds completes the top 5 of the top 10 best-selling video games of all time. Only released in 2017, the game has already sold around 70 million copies all over the globe. The Battle Royale-style game was created and developed by South Korean video game studio PUBG, which belongs to the likewise South Korean video game corporation Blueville. The multi-platform game is only playable in multiplayer mode. 6. Super Mario Bros. Super Mario Bros. Is a 1985 platform game developed and published by Nintendo. It was released for the Nintendo Entertainment System, NES, and became the best-selling game of all time at the time of its release. It now has sold around 58 million copies worldwide. The game also introduced the world to what became one of the most globally well-known and iconic video game characters of all time, Super Mario, an Italian plumber. One of the most successful video game franchises in history has formed in the aftermath of the release of Super Mario Bros. However, the first original release to this day remains the best-selling one in the franchise. 7. Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8 is the 8th installment in Nintendo's Mario Kart series and was originally released for Nintendo's Wii U console in 2014. Having sold around 55 million copies worldwide, the game is not only the most successful in the Mario Kart franchise and one of the best-selling video games overall, but it's also the most successful and most played racing game in history. Mario Kart 8 features 16 new tracks, 16 old tracks, 6 new characters, 12 returning characters from previous games, and 4 new vehicles. The game, of course, also features some of the series' most iconic items, such as red shells, banana peels, and blue shells. 8. Pokemon Red/Blue. The inaugural versions of the iconic Pokemon franchise were released in Japan in 1996 for Nintendo's handheld Game Boy console. It was originally named Pocket Monsters, later shortened to Pokemon. The game was created by Japanese video game company Game Freak and featured 3 versions, Red, Blue, and Green. For its international release in 1998, the game then came out in the red and blue versions, later completed by an additional yellow version. With around 48 million copies sold, the original Pokemon remains the most successful and most well-known, and by far the most iconic role-playing game, RPG, in video game history. Players are, in short, tasked with catching and training 151 Pokemons on their way to becoming the ultimate Pokemon trainer. 9. Red Dead Redemption E. Red Dead Redemption 2 is the second installment of the action-adventure Red Dead game series. Having sold around 45 million copies worldwide, the game now also takes its rightful place in the top 10 of the best-selling video games of all time. Developed by Rockstar Studios, Red Dead Redemption 2 is characteristically set in a large open-world environment, much like the video game studio's even more successful franchise GTA. The story of Red Dead Redemption 2 follows the life of Arthur Morgan, a member of the Vander Lynn gang who is trying to survive and escape from law enforcement after a robbery goes wrong. The game is set in 1899, with gameplay taking place primarily in the American Southwest. 10. Terraria. Terraria is a sandbox action-adventure game where players can explore and exploit a randomly generated, destructible world. The game has been developed by American software developer Andrew Spinks and published by his private company, Relogic. It was first released for the Windows platform in 2011 and subsequently on all other major video game consoles. Terraria is often compared to fellow sandbox game Minecraft, which was released the same year. While not quite as popular as Minecraft, Terraria has now sold approximately 44 million copies worldwide and thus now also belongs to the top 10 of the best-selling video games of all time. If you find this video useful, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.